Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going deep, really deep, into a case that's just, well, it's captivated and confused people for over 100 years now.
Absolutely. We're talking Fall River, Massachusetts, 1892. A wealthy family, Andrew and Abby Borden.
And a truly brutal double murder.
Packed.
With a hatchet. It sent shockwaves across the whole country.
It really did. And the killer vanished. Or seemed to. But suspicion almost immediately fell somewhere really unexpected.
Right onto their daughter, Lizzie Borden.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're aiming to unpack it all. The family secrets, the trial that gripped everyone, and that question that just won't go away. Was she guilty? Or was she just caught up in something horrific?
So our mission for you listening is to help you sift through everything, the accounts, the testimony, all the different theories. We want to pull out the key pieces, the really important bits, so you can form your own opinion on this enduring mystery.
Yeah, get ready. We're going to unpack the whole Lizzie Borden story.
Okay, so let's start with the family itself. The Bordens in Fall River. Andrew Borden, the father, successful businessman, made quite a bit of money.
A considerable fortune, but notoriously frugal. I mean, really frugal.
Refusing things like electricity.
Yeah.
Or even, private bathrooms in their big house on 2nd Street.
Yeah, no city water either. And our sources make it clear this wasn't just a quirk. It really embarrassed his daughters, Emma and Lizzie.
Created a real divide, it sounds like. A lack of connection.
Oh, definitely. It points to this chilling sort of isolation inside the house. Lizzie and Emma's view of their stepmother, Abby Durfee Gray, they apparently believe she just married their father for his money. Bridget Sullivan, the maid they called her Maggie, she testified they almost never called Abby mother, always Mrs. Borden, and they rarely even ate meals together.
Wow, like strangers under one roof?
Pretty much. A simmering pot of resentment long before the murders happened.
And the money worries, the inheritance.
Yeah.
That was clearly a huge factor, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Andrew gave a house to Abby's half-sister not long before the murders. You can just imagine how that went down with Lizzie and Emma.
Yeah, fueled their resentment, their fears about their own share.
And their response was, well, interesting. They bought their old childhood home from their father for just $1.
$1.
Yep. Then, shortly before the murders, they sell it back to him for $5,000.
Huh. Clever. Or maybe desperate. Trying to secure something.
It shows a certain calculation, doesn't it? But beyond the money stuff, there were genuinely strange things happening, really weird occurrences.
Like what?
Well, in May 1892, Andrew suddenly killed a bunch of pigeons in the barn with a hatchet. Lizzie had just built a roost for them, apparently. She was really shaken up.
That detail about her caring for them seems interesting given what happens later.
Right. Then soon after, there's a burglary. Jewelry, cash stolen. Andrew tells the daughters specifically not to talk about it.
Odd. Especially when you hear some sources mention Lizzie might have had a history of shoplifting.
Exactly. Adds another layer. And then right before the murders, the family starts feeling sick, symptoms of poisoning. Abby actually suspected someone was messing with their bread.
Poison. So paranoia, resentment, weird incidents. It's a pressure cooker.
It really is. And this all leads up to the day before the murders. Let's walk through that. John Morse, Andrew's brother-in-law, shows up to stay.
Okay. He gets cleared later, though, right? Solid alibi.
Yeah, absolutely. But around the same time he arrives, Lizzie goes to see her friend Alice Russell, spends 2 hours there.
Yeah, what does she say?
She's distressed, scared for her family, thinks someone's poisoning the bread, the milk, says her father has too many enemies, feels like they're being watched.
A premonition. Or something else. That's a key detail.
It really is. And the house itself, 92 2nd Street. It's almost like another character.
How so?
The layout was strange. There was this locked door between Lizzie's room and her parents' room. Blocked by her bed, even. You had to go all the way around. And crucially, Abby was found upstairs in the guest room. The only way out from there, unseen, would have been down the front stairs.
And that morning, there were 5 people inside. Andrew, Abby, Lizzie, Bridget the maid, and John Morse.
Okay, let's break down that morning. August 4th, hour by hour.
The timeline of terror.
Right. 6 a.m., Bridget and Morse are up. Bridget goes down, unlocks the side door.
Standard morning routine.
7 a.m. family breakfast. Andrew, Abby, Morse, and Bridget starts feeling sick, headache, nausea. Remember the poisoning scare?
Ties back.
They chat after breakfast. Then, around 8:30 a.m., Morse leaves, visits relatives. That's his alibi lockdown.
Okay.
8:45 a.m. Andrew sees Morse out, hooks the screen door from the inside. Lizzie comes down, says she's not hungry. Andrew goes upstairs. Bridget goes outside. She's actually vomiting.
Still feeling sick then?
Yeah. By 9 a.m., Andrew has left for his morning walk. Bridget comes back in. He's gone.
Okay, house is quieter now.
9:30 a.m., Abby asks Bridget to wash the downstairs windows. Abby herself goes upstairs to the guest room.
Yep.
Then Bridget goes out the side door, heads to the barn for cleaning supplies, leaving.
Leaving Lizzie and Abby alone in the house. That's the window.
That's the window. Between roughly 9:30 and 10:30, and this is when Abby is killed, hit on the side of the head with a hatchet, falls face down.
And then?
Then 17 more blows to the back of her head. Just horrific overkill.
17.
During that hour, Bridget was mostly outside. Prime opportunity, the brutality, the silence, Bridget reported. It suggests someone Abby knew, perhaps. Someone who could get close without her screaming.
And the quiet doesn't last.
Yeah.
10:30 a.m., Andrew comes back.
Right. Tries the side door first. It's hooked from the inside.
Which Lizzie would have known.
Possibly. So he goes to the front door, fumbles with the lock, starts knocking.
And Bridget hears him.
Yes, she's downstairs. Hears the knock, goes to the front door, struggling with the lock, apparently muttering a curse. And right then, she hears Lizzie giggle.
A giggle. Where?
From the top of the front stairs, near where Abby's body lies.
Chilling. Just chilling. That came up in the inquest, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It put Lizzie right near the scene. Her own testimony about where she was then was confused, contradictory. Bridget's was clear.
But the defense argued she couldn't actually see the body from there because of the bed.
And that was their point, yes. The bed obstructed the direct line of sight. But still, a giggle at that moment. It just sounds off. So off, it definitely hurt her credibility.
Okay, so Andrew gets in. What happens next? He asks Lizzie where Abby is.
Yes, and Lizzie tells him the story. That Abby got a note, someone was sick, she left. A lie she stuck to all afternoon.
Okay. Andrew goes upstairs, comes back down.
And Bridget testified that Lizzie helped him get comfortable on the sofa, settled him in for a rest.
Right, but wait, wasn't there something about his shoes? A contradiction?
Yes, good point. Lizzie later testified she saw him take off his boots, put on slippers. But the crime scene photos, they clearly show him still wearing his boots.
So another inconsistency in her story. Raises questions.
Big questions about her credibility, yes.
All right, Andrew's resting. What does Lizzie do?
She goes in the dining room, starts ironing handkerchiefs. Then she tries to get Bridget to go out to a clothing sale nearby.
Try and get her out of the house.
Seems that way. But Bridget says no, she's still feeling unwell, decides to go up to her room on the 3rd floor for a nap instead.
Okay, so Bridget's upstairs, napping.
Right. Then Lizzie claims her iron flats aren't hot enough, puts them back on the stove, and says she's going out to the barn.
The famous barn visit. Why did she say she went there?
Her story changed. Looking for iron to fix a screen door, looking for lead sinkers for fishing, even just eating pears.
How long did she say she was gone?
Varied there too, 20 minutes, maybe 30. Said she couldn't do anything in a minute, but sources suggest it was probably more like 10 minutes, maybe 10:55 to 11:05 a.m., just passing time.
While the irons heated up, or while something else happened.
And it's when she comes back from the barn, around 11:10 a.m., that's when she finds him, her father, on the sofa, horribly mutilated.
Bridget hears the City Hall bells chime, 11:000, just before this.
Yes, she testified to hearing the bells from her room. Then, shortly after, Lizzie's cry. "Maggie, come quick! Father's dead! Someone came in and killed him!"
That cry. If she was the killer, that's the moment she discovers the body. Very little time to hide a weapon, bloody clothes.
Extremely tight time frame. Sources point out it would be incredibly difficult. Not impossible, perhaps, but very, very hard.
So Bridget runs down. Lizzie tells her to get Dr. Bowen, the family doctor.
Right. He's not home. Bridget leaves a message. Then Lizzie sends her for Alice Russell, the friend she'd visited the day before.
Okay, but what did Lizzie do while Bridget was gone? Did she run out? Seemed scared of an intruder.
That's the curious part. Witnesses, like the neighbor, Mrs. Churchill, said Lizzie stayed right near the open doorway, waiting for Bridget. Didn't seem like someone afraid an attacker was still inside.
Which drew attention. Mrs. Churchill comes over.
And Lizzie says, "Oh, Mrs. Churchill, do come over. Someone has killed Father." Someone else then calls the police. Marshal Hilliard gets the call at 11:15 a.m. Police arrive, start questioning Lizzie. And right away, they notice things.
Like what?
Her answers seem inconsistent, a bit odd, but she's very calm, very collected, a calmness that apparently rubs some officers the wrong way.
And that sharp correction about her stepmother.
Yeah, when Assistant Marshal Fleet asked about her mother, she snapped back. Mrs. Borden was not my mother. She was my stepmother. My mother died when I was a little girl. Very cold.
But crucially, no blood on her clothes, her hair.
Nothing visible, not a speck. That becomes absolutely central. How could someone commit such brutal, bloody murders and have no trace on them?
And then the discovery of Abby's body. Lizzie keeps up the lie about the note.
For a while, yes. Then she sort of encourages Bridget and Mrs. Churchill to check upstairs for Abby.
So they go up.
And halfway up, they look into the guest room and see her. Face down. Mrs. Churchill comes back down, tells Lizzie, yes, she's up there.
It sounds less like a panic discovery and more like revealing something she already knew.
It has that feel, doesn't it? And again, throughout all this, observers noted the complete lack of blood on Lizzie.
Becomes the defense's anchor point, really.
Yeah. The police investigation of the house itself, well, it sounds a bit chaotic initially.
Does that messiness help the defense later? Or just typical for the time?
Probably a bit of both. They search the basement, find a couple of regular hatchets, 2 axes. 1 hatchet gets set aside initially.
But then they find another one.
Yes. The handless hatchet, found in a toolbox in the coal cellar. And this one looks suspicious right away.
Why?
Officers notice the handle break looks fresh, and the blade has this ash or dust on it, but it looks different from the dust on everything else. Like someone snapped the handle off recently and tried to make the blade look old and unused.
Trying to hide the murder weapon in plain sight?
That was the suspicion. It became a really contentious piece of evidence. Was it tampered with? Poorly handled?
And wasn't there another weird incident? Officer Hyde saw something.
Yes, that evening. He sees Lizzie and Alice Russell go down to the basement, supposedly to use the privy there. They're down there maybe 15 minutes. Then Lizzie comes back to the basement alone.
Alone.
Why?
Why?
Hyde sees her in the washroom, bending over the pail where they'd put Andrew and Abby's bloody clothes.
What was she doing?
Nobody knows. It was never really explained. Just another layer of strangeness around her actions. The next day, things get serious. Marshal Hilliard and the mayor visit. Sit with Lizzie and Emma.
And Lizzie realizes.
She asks if anyone is under suspicion. The mayor tells her straight, yes, you are.
How does she react?
Alarm. And our sources suggest this news might be what triggered what she did the very next morning.
Which was?
August 7th. Around 11 a.m., Alice Russell walks into the kitchen, finds Lizzie tearing up a dress.
Tearing it up.
Yes, says she's going to burn it, claims it's got paint stains on it, it's ruined.
In plain sight of the police. They were still guarding the house, right?
Yep. Broad daylight, police right there.
Yeah.
Now, was it the dress she wore on the murder day? We don't know for sure, never proven,
right.
But the timing, highly suspicious.
And those poison tests came back negative. On the milk, the stomachs.
Correct. No poison found. So that theory kind of fizzled out early on. Okay, so this leads us to the inquest, August 8th. This isn't the trial, remember, just a preliminary hearing.
Where Lizzie had to testify under oath.
Yes, and she was. Well, she'd been given morphine by Dr. Bowen to calm her nerves, apparently.
Morphine, while testifying.
Yes, and her testimony was all over the place, conflicting statements, erratic behavior. But here's the absolute crucial part, that inquest testimony. It was ruled inadmissible for the actual criminal trial.
Why? What was the legal reason?
Because she wasn't technically under arrest yet. She didn't have her lawyer there. Statements given under those conditions, especially under the influence of morphine, are considered unreliable, potentially coerced. It's a due process thing.
And that might have saved her.
Many sources argue yes. It might have been the single biggest factor in her acquittal.
What was her behavior like at the inquest? You said erratic.
Very. She dodged questions, like about her relationship with Abby. Asked if it was cordial, she gives that infamous reply. It depends upon one's idea of cordiality, perhaps.
Wow. Not exactly helpful to her case.
Not at all. At other times, she seemed totally confused, saying things like, I don't know it. I don't know what your name is. Or she'd get confrontational. It was a performance of sorts, but not a convincing one of innocence. And the contradictions were stark. Asked where she was when her father came home. First she says the stairs, then says something else, then basically admits she's too confused to know what she said.
Understandable confusion under stress? Maybe. Or something else.
That's the question. But her claim of hearing nothing, no struggle, no commotion during either brutal murder in that small house, that seemed really implausible to investigators. The violence was extreme. How could there be silence?
So because that testimony was thrown out, she's arrested based on other evidence.
Pretty much. Based on the circumstantial evidence, the inconsistencies outside the inquest, the opportunity, she was formally arrested on August 11th, 1892.
And then came the trial. June 5th, 1893. New Bedford, dubbed the trial of the century. 12 male jurors.
Right. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Hosea Knowlton, they came out strong. They focused on motive and opportunity.
The conflicts with Abby over money, property?
Exactly. They tried to bring in that incident where Lizzie tried to buy prussic acid, a deadly poison, just before the murders.
But that got thrown out too. Ruled inadmissible.
Yes, the judge didn't allow it. But they hammered on the suspicious chat Lizzie had with Alice Russell the night before. Sounded like she knew something was coming or was setting up an alibi.
And all those inconsistencies from her statements outside the inquest?
They brought those up, absolutely. Contrasted them with Bridget's clearer accounts. The whole dress issue was big, too.
Right, the police being given the wrong dress,
Yeah.
and then Alice Russell seeing her burn one.
Yes. Very damaging. And the hatchets found in the house, especially that handleless one with the fresh break and the weird dust, that pointed to a weapon being readily available.
And the prosecution argued no random burglar would have a motive like this.
Right. They said the killer knew the house intimately, knew the routine, and crucially, they pointed out the time gap between the murders. Abby killed, then Andrew maybe 90 minutes later.
What random killer hides in the house for an hour and a half?
Exactly. It seemed absurd. They mentioned the 3 locks on the front door, suggesting someone familiar knew how to get in and out. They argued Lizzie must have heard Abby's murder if she was inside.
And that sick friend note story.
Lizzie was the only source for it. If a killer wanted Abby out of the house, why invent a story to keep her in? It suggested Lizzie made it up to explain Abby's absence after she was already dead.
Okay, strong circumstantial case from the prosecution. How did the defense, Jennings and Robinson, fight back? Their strategy was basically just create doubt.
Create reasonable doubt. That was their whole focus. They kept reminding the jury, your job isn't to solve the crime. It's only to decide if Lizzie is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Better to let the real killer go free than convict an innocent woman.
So how did they counter the prosecution's points?
Systematically, point by point. No handle found for the handleless hatchet.
Okay.
Most importantly, no blood found on Lizzie. Huge point. Her being in the house, it's her home, not inherently suspicious.
The character.
They brought up her church work, charity, painted her as an unlikely killer. The note story. Maybe it was true, they argued. Her barn visit. No one directly contradicted her account in court.
What about her changing stories, hearing noises?
Defense said maybe she did hear street noises. And memory under pressure, it gets fuzzy. An innocent person might have inconsistencies, while a guilty person might have a suspiciously perfect, rehearsed story.
The family stuff. Frugality, not calling Abby mother.
Defense argued Andrew's frugality wasn't criminal, making it a motive was a stretch. And not calling her mother. Unkind maybe, but doesn't make you a murderer. Family sickness happens all the time.
What about her actions right after finding her father? Calling for Bridget.
Defense said that showed fear, innocence. Why call for help if you just committed murder? Her premonitions to Alice. Inconsistent with guilt, they argued. Why warn someone if you're planning it?
The cellar visit.
Innocent trip to the privy. The dress burning. Witnesses testified the dress Lizzie wore that day had no blood on it when she wore it, and they had a dressmaker and painter back up the paint stain story. Plausible deniability, the handleless hatchet. They argued it only became suspect after other weapons were dismissed. And crucially, forensic tests found no trace of blood on its blade, not even down in the broken handle area.
So maybe it wasn't the weapon?
Or it was cleaned incredibly well. But the lack of blood was key, and the doors, they argued the side door was unlocked earlier, the screen door unlatched. An intruder could have slipped in.
And finally, the logistics. Changing clothes, cleaning up.
Defense made a big deal of this. 2 murders, 2 changes of clothes. Where? How? Limited access to running water, no real privacy. It seemed highly improbable to pull off undetected in that time frame. They really hammered the practical difficulties.
So the jury goes out and comes back incredibly quickly.
90 minutes. That's it. And the verdict. Not guilty.
Must have been pandemonium. Lizzie's reaction.
Told reporters she was the happiest woman in the world.
Yeah.
But life afterwards wasn't simple. She and Emma bought a fancy new house, Maplecroft, lived together for a while.
But then Emma moved out.
Yes, around 1905, they became estranged, never spoke again, apparently. Lizzie lived a fairly secluded life after that, died in 1927.
Took her secrets with her.
If she had any, the debate certainly didn't die with her.
No kidding. And because the trial didn't really solve anything, just acquitted Lizzie, all these alternative theories sprang up over the years, right?
Yeah, plenty. People needed answers.
Like the illegitimate son theory? William Borden?
Yeah, that one suggested he came looking for money from Andrew. but later research pretty much debunked it. No real evidence.
What about other family members?
Mm.
Emma, or even Bridget?
Theories exist for both. Emma arranging it, maybe revenge, maybe protecting Lizzie from something, or Bridget, maybe she had grievances, or some even whispered about a secret affair with Lizzie. But again, very speculative, no solid proof.
And then there's just a random intruder.
That persists. A drifter, a burglar. There were reports of a suspicious man seen nearby, but the lack of forced entry, the intimate, overkill nature of the attacks, it feels less random to many. And how do they avoid everyone in that house?
And the last one. Maybe Lizzie wasn't consciously aware. A mental disorder.
That's floated too. A dissociative state, fugue state, some kind of personality disorder, explaining the calmness, the memory gaps, the brutality without clear motive. But impossible to diagnose posthumously, of course. Just another layer to the what-ifs.
Okay, so we've covered the facts, the trial, the doubts, the other theories. But the source material we use, the author comes down pretty firmly on one side.
Yes, this particular author argues strongly that Lizzie Borden did kill her parents.
And let's be super clear, this is us exploring that specific author's detailed conclusion from the source. We're not saying case closed.
Absolutely. It's one interpretation, but a detailed one. The author points to motive. Yes, financial, but also the deep impact of Andrew killing those pigeons. Points to Lizzie's later support for animal welfare as maybe stemming from that trauma.
Okay, motive. What about opportunity and method?
The author stresses the 90-minute time frame, suggests intimate knowledge of the house, the schedule, no forced entry, nothing stolen points away from a stranger. Abby's death, they argue, was personal, facing her attacker, hence no scream heard by Bridget. The overkill suggests an inexperienced killer ensuring death.
And Andrew's murder.
Less planned, more opportunistic, according to this view. After Lizzie told the lie about Abby being out, and Lizzie sending Bridget away suggesting the sale, leading to the nap that created the time needed.
And this author even speculates on the how, the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, it's quite specific. For Abby, Lizzie changes into that paint-stained dress she planned to burn anyway. Ties up her hair, maybe goes barefoot, no shoe prints.
Oh, no time to change back. So the theory goes, she grabs one of her father's coats, puts it on over her dress, commits the murder, then takes the coat off, folds it neatly, maybe bloodstains hidden inside, and places it under his head on the sofa, hiding evidence in plain sight.
Wow, that's detailed. And the fewer blows for Andrew.
This author suggests maybe the killer was slightly more practiced by then, or maybe the motive was less personal rage, more just removing the obstacle. So putting it all together, this author's argument is, yes, it's circumstantial, but the motive, the opportunity, the inconsistencies, the burned dress, the familiarity, the access to a weapon, it paints a compelling picture of guilt.
Even without that smoking gun, that definitive physical proof.
Right, and the author's final thought is pointed. Lizzie's acquittal doesn't automatically mean innocence. It could just reflect the limitations of the justice system back then, the biases, the difficulty juries had convicting a woman, especially an upper-class woman, of such a brutal crime. It's just such a complex case. More than a century later, and it still draws you in. The timeline, the characters, the conflicting stories.
It really does. And you have to wonder, what does it say about us, about our legal system, maybe even about human nature, that this case still confounds us so much, that the question of who really swung that hatchet still sparks such fierce debate?
What does it tell us about doubt? About our need for answers when maybe there aren't any clear ones?
Exactly. That enduring mystery.
We've laid out the evidence as presented in our sources, the trial, the theories. Now it's really up to you, the listener, to weigh it all and form your own conclusion on the deep, dark mystery of Lizzie Borden.